Finally! Finally! TSR Sports is back live on YouTube. What is up, San Antonio Spurs fans, New Orleans Pelicans fans? Welcome to TSR Sports. And we got what's left of the San Antonio Spurs versus the New Orleans Pelicans. It's been a while since I've been live, and taking the time off has got me rejuvenated. You guys may have seen in my video earlier today, with the San Antonio Spurs, it's like cheers. Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, but more importantly, just feels good to be back. And I'll be live a few more times before the season's over, covering about half the remaining Spurs games. Yes, I know they've been tough to watch at times, but they've also been exciting to watch with a huge comeback versus Atlanta. Yeah, some blown leads here and there. The injuries have hit us left and right. My goodness, the starting lineup is all out tonight except for Trey Jones. So this will be an opportunity for other guys. So this, barring a miracle, will probably be a loss, but I'll also be rooting for the team, and we'll see what happens. I want to thank you all for being here, and I'm pumped up. And I got some new things here for you guys throughout the stream. Some things I've added, a little spice, if you will. And I'm pumped up, in case you can't tell. Let's take a look at the chat. Spur of the moment. Good evening, Trey Turner. What's up? Mr. Z, Sebastian, Yasurski, Sarvas. I'm excited to be back. And, I really want to make, after experimenting with some other channels this year, a failed gaming channel and Hulk channel, gave about a month to each channel. I just realized, you know what, this is where I belong. And, this channel could really grow if we grab Victor. And I really want to focus on other NBA content, the draft, but more importantly, focus on the Spurs. And there's a lot to be excited about if you're a Spurs fan. I know the losses are piling up. This is going to be one of our worst records of all time. But we have so many draft picks, and our guys, look at the guys we drafted last year. Malachi Branham, Jeremy Sohan, and Blake Wesley all have shown flashes of extreme high potential throughout the season. We could have a really good team next year if we get a top 1 or 2 pick. Heck, we could be a play-in team. Heck, we might be a playoff team next year if we are lucky enough to draft Victor Wembanyama. It's great to be back. Well, you roll one for me too, Mr. Z. From North Iraq. Good evening, Roy. Good evening to you. Boo Boo's a Cat says hi, man. I can't wait for another milkshake out in Texas. I got to get out there again. Maybe not this year. I've been doing a lot of traveling. For those of you that didn't know, I just went to Las Vegas recently to see UFC 285. John Jones back and better than ever. And that was an incredible event. And I got to thank you, Spurs fans. If you didn't catch the video where I talked about it, I really didn't travel. And then when I went out to Texas, it kind of a little flame out, inside me. Like, you know what? I like traveling. And what pushed me to go to Texas and to see the Spurs live and visit you all was you guys. So I can't thank you enough. That really inspired me to go to UFC 285. Heck, I'm going to UFC 288 in New Jersey in May. I got another little vacation planned next month with a buddy of mine in New Hampshire. So you guys just, lit that flame that I didn't know I had, that I enjoyed traveling. And I just can't thank you guys enough. It really is great to be back. You know what? I want to share a little, for those of you that are early, how about a little new Go Spurs Go? That's right. Hopefully the audio was fine on that. I got a few other things planned like that. Instead of just having the GIFs now, some of them have audio. I've been working on doing some things a little different, add a little something to the broadcast, and I'm excited. I'm so thrilled to be back. Whether we have 10 people watching, 100 by the end of the night, whether the Spurs win by 10 or lose by 100, it feels good to be back. I can't explain it. Sometimes there's a Cinderella song, a band from the 80s, a hair metal band. Don't know what you got until it's gone. And the time away and trying to do some other things made me realize, this is something that I just enjoy to do. And at one point, the Spurs will be a big team again, and we'll be here for, we've been here for all the bad years, if you will. Started this channel in 2019. That's when I started covering the Spurs. They've been bad in 19, been bad in 20, been bad in 21, been bad in 22. Something's got to give, and it's going to be fun when we're back on top where we should be. Good evening, Jake from State Farm. Of course I'm alive. Homer, good evening to you. I've been busy with other stuff, but you know what? I've been gaming less. One of my favorite games is Hit a Wall and Rogue Company. They've been putting updates left and right that have just really been busting the game. I don't play Apex Legends anymore. As the gaming has gone down, I've noticed I've been watching more and more Spurs games. I've been catching a lot of them anyway. I was like, you know what? Instead of trying to work on these new channels like the gaming channel or the Hulk channel, why not just go back to calling the games? I'm sure the community will be glad I'm back. I can't imagine there's a lot of other content creators out there calling Spurs games right now, maybe a handful of that. And, it's such an exciting future for our Spurs, and I want to be part of it. I've been part of the losing. I'm ready to be part of the winning. Yes, playoff talk coming soon. Daniel Barry, good evening. If I haven't said good evening already, let's show you the game. All right. You want to see the game? This one's for you.
Sucker!
Huh? How's that? I'm trying over here. I'm trying. One thing the time away did is got to play around with editing some videos, and hopefully the audio. Please let me know if the audio sounds okay on those. But I've been trying some different stuff, and I want to, maybe I can make somebody laugh having a bad day, watching the Spurs get killed, and I can make them laugh. Then I've done my job. 2 to 3 years next year, baby. Toby, good evening. Spurs number and lottery pick right now, I believe we sit at the 3rd seed. And we don't want to drop any farther. And I've been one of those, man, I'm pumped up. I got to take the hoodie off. I've been one of those that's, I hate losing. I've accepted where we are this year. We got, 11 games left. And I'd like to see us finish right at number 3. We have the same odds as the first 2 teams. And, of course, the end goal would be we draft number 1 overall. And the injuries concern me. But, man, Victor Wembanyama is just a crazy generational talent. And on the Spurs, man, I can't imagine just how much that would elevate the team and everybody else around him. It's going to open up so many things for Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell and Jeremy Sohan. It's just a lot of things to be excited about, but we don't have them yet. We got to wait. We got to wait and see what happens. We'll find out, I believe, draft results are next month or May, April, soon. I think it's next month. That's right. Josh Richardson is on the New Orleans Pelicans, so we're going to see Jay Rich back on the court. We haven't seen him in quite some time. Hopefully he's doing well. Zion is out tonight, which you guys probably already knew that. Of course, he's on the thumbnail. Keldon Johnson's out. Jeremy Sohan's out. Zach Collins is out. Devin Vassell is out. Mamma mia, we're missing most of the starters. But you know what? I'm going to root for the guys that are starting tonight, whoever the heck that is. Veronica, good evening. It is great to be back. Well, Parker, I hope the Pelicans, I'm not rooting for the Pelicans. I hope you get that. It's been a minute is right. It has been a minute. It's great to be back. And, I'm sure you can sense the excitement in my voice. Just sometimes you got to pause a little bit and take some time away. And you guys for those of you that don't know, I've been on YouTube since 2006. So if you wonder why is he getting burned out? He's only been doing this channel since 2019. I've been going at this since 2006. I was just a little channel, not monetized from 2006 to 18. Finally hit something in 2019. And I think I wanted to experiment because I think really, to be honest with you guys, a part of me felt like I'll never be able to get big with this channel, being a Spurs fan. And I was like, you know what? That's negativity talking. Because 10 years ago, I probably thought I would never get to 100 subscribers, and that happened with this channel, but far exceeded that. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make it work with this channel. I'm going to get back into making content. I want to be the #1 Spurs channel on YouTube. I know the San Antonio Spurs channel itself has a lot more subscribers. My goal is to take them down someday. In a friendly, competitive way. I want that channel to succeed, of course, the actual Spurs channel. I think they have 55 or 60,000 subscribers. My goal is to not only get to them, but pass them with not only Spurs content, NBA content, draft content. Where there's a will, there's a way, and somehow I'm going to make that happen. If we draft Victor, then that'll really help. We got the #1 pick twice and #7 pick 4 times. I like the first half of that, Phil. I don't like the second half of that. I did see a website that said they had the Spurs drafting first, but we traded up with the Pistons. Now, the Pistons do have Jalen Duren, but you got to think, if the Pistons draft first overall, wouldn't they want a modern-day Twin Towers with Jalen Duren and Victor Wembanyama? I got to think there's no way they're trading that pick, but crazier things have happened. The Spurs are willing to offer a lot of the draft capital that we have to them. They might just, whoever the #1 pick is might say, you know what, we're good with drafting 3 and have at it. Good evening, Mars. Edward, I don't have a way to watch the NBA draft yet, but as a Spurs fan, I got to go live during it. So I'll purchase Sling or one of those or try to find a free 7-day preview of something so I can watch the NBA draft. I might not be able to do the results, which are just going to be 10 minutes anyway. I'll definitely react to that and give my thoughts on it, but I got to go live for the NBA draft. Got to keep an eye on who the Spurs draft. Got to still, the Kai Soto, I've not forgot about him. Curious to see if he gets drafted this year. I haven't had a lot of rumblings with him, but you never know. We'll be rooting for him. And I'll be rooting for the Spurs to draft #1 overall. And the ultimate nightmare for Spurs fans would be is we get the #1 overall pick and they say some name that we're not expecting that's supposed to go like 6th or 7th. And oh my, that would probably be, if the Spurs would get the first pick overall. If they drafted Scoot Henderson, I wouldn't be totally upset. By the way, starting the lineup is, wow, just whoosh, off the screen. Herbert Jones, Trey Murphy, Brandon Ingram, Jonas Valanciunas, and CJ McCollum for the Pelicans. They showed the Spurs starting the lineup for a half a second and it was gone, so I don't know who the hell's starting besides Trey Jones. But if the Spurs got the first overall pick and didn't take Victor and then didn't take Scoot either, it could turn into a very R-rated live NBA draft. Yes, it is the Austin Spurs versus the Pelicans tonight. We are without everybody. So we'll see. We'll win for him. Victor's, the injury concerns are there with Victor Wembanyama. He's 7'5". He's as thin as me. I'm a railing for the most part. Those type of players generally don't have long NBA careers. But he could be the anomaly and stays healthy most of his career. I mean, there's Zach Collins. Major injury issues the first few years of his career. Missed a ton of games. All of a sudden now seems to stay healthy. For NFL fans, Matt Stafford, former Lions quarterback, now Rams, and maybe he went off somewhere else. I don't know where he is now. First couple years, he had an injury-plagued career. He's been healthy. For the Spurs, out. Charles Bassey, Kem Birch, Zach Collins. Kem Birch is still on the team. Zach Collins, Kellen Johnson, Jeremy Sohan, Devin Sell. I know Trey Jones is starting. Malachi Branham is probably starting. Mamu's starting. Doug McDermott probably in the starting lineup. I don't know who else is starting. Romeo Langford. Mamu is starting. Thank you, Veronica. I miss the Silver Dancers too. I do see. Okay, Romeo's out there. So actually, I did guess the starting lineup as I was just. Oh, KBD. KBD starting. McDermott's not starting. Wow, I thought Dougie would be out there. KBD's starting instead. Jump balls off, and away we go. Thank you for being here, Spurs fans. If you could hit the thumbs up, you know the deal. It's fast, free, fun, nutritious, and it's delicious. It does help the channel. And as always, all right, let's get the game underway. Valanciunas with the ball. Kick it out, go around the world to Brandon Ingram. Ingram into the paint, passes it out. Three-point attempt is no good for Herbert Jones. Spurs ball. KBD, dang, dang, dang. Bring it up. Why does he always hop when he's bringing up the damn balls? Anybody else notice that? KBD will bring a ball up the court and then does this little hop when he passes half court. Stop doing that. You're going to call for a travel, you knucklehead. Sorry. Jones, Langford, Mamu, KBD, and Malachi Branham. Mamu with the pass in the paint. Throws it up off the glass. It's good, and the Spurs are up 2-0. All right, we'll take it. Is Dougie hurt? Is he out tonight, Veronica? Devontae Graham is from the Pelicans, and I believe he is active tonight, but he will be coming off the bench as Valanciunas hits a jump shot to get the first points on the board for New Orleans. If they pull that out, AJ, anything's possible. Mamu for three. No good. CJ McCollum with the rebound. And it is Pelicans ball, all tied up 2-2 with the minute down. The Pelicans offense will get set. This kind of is the Spurs G League. It's their bench unit. As Ingram easily gets into the paint, throws a layup off the glass, good for two. It is 4-2. I don't want to knock any of the guys on the floor, but this is our second unit, which means our second unit that comes out will actually be our third unit, as we're going to have to foul on New Orleans. Good evening, Butterfly. Devontae has been playing pretty well. Salute, AV. Zach Collins, I did a video on him this morning. If you haven't watched it yet, has been killing it. And maybe it didn't show up on your feed, but I did do a video, a short of when the Spurs drafted Tim Duncan. And I thought it had a pretty epic soundtrack to it. And I don't think that's... YouTube shorts are weird. Sometimes they'll email get 1,000 views. Other times they get 10 views. I don't understand the algorithm with YouTube shorts. I give up. Ball's going to go out of bounds. It'll stay with San Antonio. And this might be a little bit more of a casual play-by-play tonight, as I haven't been gone for a while and might be a little rusty with things. And I just want to catch up with you guys. See what you think about the team. Are you excited about games like Atlanta with a huge comeback? Or were you hoping we lose that game? I was excited about the comeback. By the way, is it me or is Trey Jones starting to look like a little like Romeo Langford? With him having the dreads now, there was an occasional time when I watched a Hawks game where I got him confused with Romeo. Plus, it doesn't help that the first number on his chest is a 3 as well, so their numbers are kind of similar. So at times I was like, Trey, oh wait, nope, that's Trey. I was getting them all sorts of confused. You're going to the game. That is awesome. Enjoy the game, and I hope he plays. Spurs inbound the ball, almost a turnover. They got one on the shot clock. Mamu to the paint with a layup at the buzzer. 4-4. And I'm going to call him Mamu because I will mess up his last name every time I try to say it. So it's just Mamu, not Manu. But could he be a Manu someday? Who knows? They're pretty big shoes to fill. We'll hope for the best. Valanciunas for three, good. Long three, straight on, swish, kill the fish. You know, the Giants made some nice offseason moves. I don't like the contract they gave to Daniel Jones. I think it's a ton, but Apparently that's the price of a starting quarterback. 12 on the shot clock for the Spurs. Mama dishes it out to Brandon. Brandon for three, no good. Brandon Ingram with the rebound. He'll bring it up for the Pelicans. They are up 7-4 with a little over 9 minutes to go in the first Q. Ingram drives by the entire Spurs offense, or defense, and he gets to the paint, throws it off the glass, and the Spurs have had no answer early on for Brandon Ingram. He's just been able to get into the paint at will. Good evening, Jay Money. Cowboys fans, I know there's a lot of you in the chat generally. Your thoughts on Zeke Elliott being released, I thought was a shock. And Brandon for three from the corner, 9-7. Did you expect it? I honestly didn't. I don't follow Dallas Cowboys news. With Elliott being released, I was honestly shocked. Turnover by the Pelicans, and Mamu's going to take into the paint, throws up the layup. Mamu, I think, has 6 points right now in the first quarter. I like it. Good evening, Melissa. Thank you for stopping in. I can't wait to do the draft, and a lot more content coming on this channel. KBD going to drive to the paint, throws up the layup. It's good. The Spurs have the lead. It is 11-9 with a little over 8 minutes to go, but thank you for stopping in. And yes, I've taken a little time off to experiment a little with other channels. Was very busy with life. Life has finally calmed down. Decided to scrap those other channels and just got to stick with the two I have. TSR Sports, TSR Music. That's enough. Trying to do a third channel is just exhausting. We're going to have a foul on San Antonio with 8 minutes to go. Spurs up 11-9. Zeke wasn't the problem. Dak and his turnovers are. That's fair. I think he's still a good running back, but I do think a lot of his productivity came from having such a great offensive line his first few years, and without that offensive line, he's not the same running back. CJ McCollum gets into the paint, throws it up off the glass. I believe that was left-handed, and it's a tie game, 11-11. Spurs try to go fast break, get it down to Malachi Brandon. Brandon for three, off the rim, no good. Fight for the rebound, and the Spurs will come away with it. I believe that was tipped by Romeo Langford. Nice effort. Langford, really, for a player his size, a pretty darn good offensive rebounder. Unfortunately, that's a turnover for the Spurs. Fast break for the Pelicans, and we're going to have a foul on Trey Murphy, and he'll probably go on the line for two. TSR Tejana music? What? We have a lot to be excited about, Spurs fans. There's a lot of young talent that's shown flashes. It's just putting it all together on a regular basis. A lot of guys have one great game and they kind of disappear the next. A good game, disappear. It's very up and downy. And the players are consistently inconsistent throughout the week, which is causing a lot of losses. Not to mention the fact, in the San Antonio Spurs defense, they have been saddled with a ton of injuries this year. There's been a different starting lineup every other game, and I don't know how you can get any, rhythm if you're a player like Kellen has struggled a lot this year. He's had new people starting with him every other game. How do you get a good rhythm going with with a different lineup every night? You don't. So if the team can stay healthy next year, get a top 2 draft pick, I think they could be in the playoffs again sooner than later. Mamu pull-up jumper, back iron, no good. Pelicans ball, excuse me. McCollum brings it up the court. Out to Valanciunas, free throw line jumper. Back rim, no good for him. KBD to DDD with the rebound. He'll bring it up. No hop this time. He must have been listening to me in his ear. He'll throw it out to Mamu. Mamu's going to take it. Mamu taking a lot of shots, and the three is good. Mamu has, 9 points already in the first quarter? 6 points. He just hit a 3, though. So does he have 9 now? I feel like he has 9. Pull-up jumper by Ingram is no good. Mamu with the rebound. Mamu will bring it up the court. Drops it off to Jones. Jones will throw it out to Langford. Langford to the long 3. Front rim, no good. Valanciunas with the rebound. Spurs up 14-13 with 6.5 minutes go. So far, pretty nice, clean game. Not a lot of fouls, and as soon as I say that, we got a foul on Brandon Ingram. Figures. Good evening, RQ3. The young talent is frowning in shot. Yes, they are frowning a lot. I caught you growing there. It will take time, but we have a timeout. There's good things. There's stuff to be excited about. And if you're not excited and not down with the San Antonio Spurs season, well, I got this for you. Chuck Norris. All right. Anyway. Brian, I've been good. I'm doing excellent. Your computer's not working. I'm not going to read the F-bomb in there. I've been doing great. You guys can see I'm pumped up. Played some basketball today. It was 61 degrees in Connecticut, which is awesome. I've been doing awesome, and I'm excited to see where I can bring this channel. I've taken the time away, lit that fire in me. Now, admittedly, it was hard to cover the Spurs when they're in the midst of, was it a 16-game losing streak? What do you say when your team's playing like that? Even I, as positive as I try to be at times, I had nothing. I was like, what can I do? I got nothing. That was a rough stretch. Thank you, Son of Scar, my Hulk friend. I did get a dog since I've last been live. Let me show you my doggy over here. Ready? Okay, well, my aunt gave that to me. I was over at my aunt and uncle's house watching the Super Bowl, and I saw him like, oh, that's so cute on the floor. Of course, family being family, she puts it next to me. She's like, take it home, and I was like, no, I was just saying. She's like, nope, it's yours. I'm like, all right, got a Dalmatian. I don't know. Show the game? I will show the game. You ready for this? Sucker! Having a little fun. Yes, indeed. Let's just say it again. I've been saying it all night. Hope you guys like the little touches. I think it gives a little gravitage. Tony Pollard over Zeke. Yeah, I was saying that last year when you guys asked me about football. I said, you know what? Pollard seems like the more explosive runner, and I'm not shocked. Ooh, who's this? Who's Jen Hale? How you doing? Thank you, Mr. Z. Gosh, Spurs are up right now. I like it. I forgot what I was going to say. Totally brain just had a... Yeah, if this makeshift lineup of San Antonio Spurs can somehow pull this game off, yeah, incredibly, the Spurs three-point shooting, they're setting team records for most three-pointers in a game, most three-pointers in a three-game span. The three-point shooting has come to life lately for the San Antonio Spurs, and as much as I don't like to chuck a three up every other shot that the NBA has turned into, it is what it is, and I'm glad to see that we're hitting our threes. Ingram at the line for two. First free throw is good. We got a tied game, Spurs and Pelicans fans. So I'm guessing there's 99% Spurs fans in here. Brian, I decided to move on from that. I tried when I was taking some time off on this channel, I experimented a little with the gaming channel. I experimented with an Incredible Hulk channel. And I've been on YouTube since 2006, so 17 years now. And 14 of that, I had a channel that wasn't monetized and had under 20 subscribers. And I don't want to have to start over again. And really, my heart wasn't into it. Just, this is where I belong. Spurs ball, by the way, 5 on the shot clock. Dominic Barlow gets blocked in the paint. He's checked in for the Spurs, so we are going deep. Devontae Graham is checked in, former New Orleans Pelican, for the San Antonio Spurs as Trey Murphy misses a three. Malachi Brand will bring it up for San Antonio. He'll launch a three. No good. Remember what I just said about chucking threes every other shot? Well, the chucking's going. Valanciunas with the ball in the post, double teamed. Gets it out. They wheel the ball around for another three. And that three is no good by Herbert Jones. 3-point shooting contest. Today's NBA. Analytics say, though, you're going to win the game by doing that. Mama with the ball. Turns the ball over. 5.5 minutes to go. 15-14 Pelicans up. McCollum, lots of contact. No whistle. Runs into Trey Jones. Jones goes down. No whistle. Ball's going to go out of bounds, and it'll stay with New Orleans. I'm surprised nobody got called for a foul on that. Michelob, good evening. I am doing well. Spurs next champion 2025. I would be down with that. Well, I'm okay with that. Champagne. Is it champagne or champagne? I've heard it two different ways on the Spurs broadcast. Pelicans get the ball in. Brandon Ingram baseline jumper is no good. It'll be Spurs ball. From a distance, Champagne, depending on the angle, kind of looks like Derek White because he's got the same hair thing going. If he cut his beard down, that's a miss for the Spurs. 5 minutes remaining. Ingram into the paint, and that's a whistle on, looks like that's on Mamu. Good evening, Cody. I think Dougie is available, Veronica. I don't think he's out. It is Champagne. Okay. Sham. What a sham. There's Dougie McBuckets coming in the game, Veronica. For all the Dougie McBuckets fans in the world, Doug McDermott is here. You know who else is here? My lady. I can't play her song to the gift because I would get hit with a pretty hard copyright if I was playing Come and Get It or one of her songs. But there she is, looking good, and also looking over there. It is Pelicans ball. They are up by 1. What is now turning into travel. Turnover. Pelicans 0 field goals in the last 3 minutes, and the offense in this game has gone. Both teams struggling to score now. There's a couple guys I would give a contract. Zach Collins, I think, has earned a new contract. He's on the books for $7 million next year, not guaranteed, but man, he's been playing really good. If he can stay healthy, he could be our starting center for the next who knows how long, or at the very least, a darn good backup. Open 3 is no good for Trey Jones. Doug McDermott with the rebound, and it's going to go out of bounds, and that was poked out. That was poked out, I think, by Josh Richardson, former San Antonio Spur, by the way, who's in the game. Just noticed that. It is Spurs ball, 12 on the shot clock. Dougie will get it in. I like the new Spurs, Cody. The losing's tough, but you know, when you consider how many players the franchise has lost this season and last season, Devontae Graham for 3. Nope. Dominic Barlow with the offensive board. Gets it out to Trey Jones. Spurs will reset. Smoking McPhee got him, by the way. Just past the 4 to the 2 to the 0. Barlow. Mid-range jumper. That is no good. And finally, the Pelicans will come down with it. But you figure out, look at all the players the Spurs have lost in the last 2 seasons. Derek White, DeJounte Murray, Josh Primo, Josh Richardson, and Jakob Poeltl. That's a lot of starters and guys that were expected to be possibly starters or quality players off the bench. That really decimates your roster when you have that much turnover. We're going to have another whistle, and Champagne's going to be called for the foul. Pafo was thinking about extending McDermott to keep him around throughout the rebuild as a vendor. But Doug McDermott might be getting extended. Melissa, yeah, I like doing those type of videos where I kind of isolate the statistics because it really shows what a player's been doing in a certain time frame. And Zach, I knew he'd been playing well. Ingram's at the line for 2. He makes the first one. I knew he'd been playing well, but I didn't know he'd been playing that well. His last 7 games, I believe the stat I put up, he was shooting like 50% from three-point land. That's pretty, turning into the best three-point shooter on the team, a legit stretch 5. As much as I like Jakob, I do think that if he stays healthy, Zach Collins could end up having a higher ceiling than Jakob. He's missed so much time in his career. Yes, this might be his, 5th NBA season? But he's missed a ton of games. So he's pretty raw, but he's developing very well at San Antonio right now. Spurs ball, 10 on the shot clock. Devontae Graham out, 3-point land. Looking for a pick, looking for a roll, not going to get it. Drives into paint, gets it to Don Barlow. Barlow with the jumper in the paint, off the glass. No good. It is Pelicans ball. They are in the bonus, if you did not know. Josh Richardson drives into paint against his old team and throws the left-handed layup off the glass for 2. We need a top 2 pick. If we don't get, number 1 is ideally what I want. I wouldn't overpay Zach Collins either. If we can get a hometown discount, like 4 years, would you guys do 4 years, $40 million? Anywhere from 4 years, $40 million to 4 years, $50 million? So 10 to 12 and a half a year. I got to think he's going to get double digits based off his play this year. Question is just how much more than double digits. All right, J Money. Have a good night. Has he put on weight? I haven't noticed Jake from State Farm putting on some bulk. Certainly will. Because he's, I definitely see him get pushed around in the paint in the past. So putting on some weight will help. I believe Zach is 6'10", 6'11". So I wouldn't say he's an undersized center by all means. And the question is, if the Spurs draft, if they get the number 1 pick and draft Victor Wembanyama number 1 overall in this year's draft, and I think it's June, what's that mean for Zach Collins? If they get the number 2 overall pick and draft Scoot Henderson, what's that mean for Trey Jones? I believe Trey Jones' contract is up this year. If they draft Scoot, probably not re-signing Trey Jones. That would leave a logjam of point guards of Scoot. You got to think Scoot would start immediately, much like they do with Jeremy Sohan. You don't draft somebody 2nd overall and not start them. So you'd have Scoot starting, and then I would think the backup would be Blake Wesley. Yeah, he struggled from the field this year. He also missed a ton of time due to injury. He's still, I believe, only 19. So I think the Spurs might roll with Blake as backup, and we've also seen Jeremy Sohan run the point at times and to varying degrees of success. 10 million max. And I think that's why he's not going to get a huge contract initially, Michelob, and that would make sense. His long injury history and all the time missed. He's not a guy you can say 4 years, 60 million. One, he just hasn't had a long stretch of that type of consistency, but there is also the injury concerns. Blake is supposedly a point guard. Kingsley kicking our door down trying to... Yeah, you might be right. Could he be part of a draft trade? Is there a chance if the Spurs don't win the number 1 overall pick that they have enough draft capital and or players to move up to number 1? I can't think anybody drafting number 1 would pass on Victor, and unless it's, the Spurs are like, all right, next year's number 1, the next 2 years number 1 pick for Victor Wembanyama, plus our 3rd pick, let's say if that's where we end up drafting, that's tough to turn down. But they also have to look at, okay, to get Victor, they probably become an immediate play-in team, maybe even a playoff team, so those number 1 picks might not translate to a lottery pick. We'll see. Devontae does have 3 years left on his contract. I didn't realize it was so much. And he's got a pretty sizable contract, doesn't he? Isn't he getting like 13 to 15 million a year somewhere in there? Spurs ball. Doug McDermott with the ball right now. Out to Devontae Graham. Speaking of Devontae, gets into the paint, gets into Barlow. Barlow throws it up and gets blocked, goes down hard, and there's going to be a foul, and he'll be going to the line for 2 shots. Pelter Spur in my career, it's 48-29 Spurs. Is it? Yeah, but I feel like the Pelicans have been really giving it to us lately, as in the last few years. These few years of Spurs not being so good. I feel like you guys have kind of turned the beat around. Word might have it that Brandon Miller might go ahead of Henderson. Misses the first free throw. Really? Is this recent, Darren? Are NBA mock drafts starting to have Scoot Henderson go 3rd overall? As a Lakers fan, why do you need this? Oh, William. Is the Lakers lottery pick protected with the Pelicans? He missed them both. Son of a gun. I don't think Blake Wesley's dropping 45 tonight, glazing bacon. I'm not opposed to that. That would be great. He's in the game right now, but, that would be something. Turnover by the Pelicans. Spurs, 0 field goals in the last 4 minutes. That's awesome. Blake Wesley with the ball right now. Speaking of the devil, gets it out to Doug McDermott for 3. Nothing. Ball's going to go out of bounds, and it'll be Pelicans ball. 4 years, $47 million. I can't either, Michelob. You know what? Stranger things have happened. While the consensus is Victor Wembanyama's number 1, the number 1 overall pick, and Scoot Henderson is the number 2 overall pick, we've seen, I'm a New York Giants fan. Daniel Jones being drafted number 6 a few years ago was unthinkable, and it ended up happening. So you never know what Josh Primo being drafted number 12. Who saw that coming with the Spurs? Nobody. Lucas Samanic 19th? Nope. You never know what teams are going to do, and you never know what player they're going to look at and say, that team fits the needs of our team. That player fits the needs of our team. We're going to take him, even if we are reaching a little bit. CJ McCollum with a pull-up jumper, 21-14. Pelicans up by 7 to the Spurs offense. The Spurs have been on 14, I think, since like the 7-minute mark. Man, we haven't scored in a while, have we? This is rough. Devontae Graham with the ball right now. Pull-up mid-range jumper. Or long 2, should I say. That's not mid-range. That's actually a long 2. No good. Our offense is ice cold. And another foul on the Spurs. CJ McCollum going to the line for 2. Little 45? 60 on for Blake Wesley. Are the Spurs playing themselves out of the bottom 3 worst record with these remaining games? It's going to take a miracle for them to win tonight with the roster they're putting out there. With 4 starters out, I don't think they're going to play themselves out of the bottom 3 because Charlotte is like, 4 games ahead of us? And after tonight, there's 10 games left. We would have to go on one heck of a winning streak to catch Charlotte. And I honestly don't see that happening. I'm as positive a Spurs fan as they come. I don't think we're passing Charlotte. That being said, I don't think we're going to be sucky enough to drop down to 2 or 1 because the Pistons and the Rockets are pathetic and have been for a while. I don't get how they keep drafting players every freaking year so high and just keep sucking every year. It is what it is. Blake Wesley drops it off to Champagny. Champagny will get it back to Doug McDermott. McDougie out in three-point land, starts to drive into the paint, kicks it out to Blake Wesley. Wesley, with 5 seconds on the shot clock, looking to drive baseline, gets into the paint. Tough jumper, no good. He will go to the line for 2 shots. Brandon Miller is a high talent, has a talented scoop, plus he's 6'9 or 6'10. I didn't realize he was that big. I think Miller's likely to go undrafted given his off-court problem. Really? That's a hot take. Brandon Miller undrafted. But you know what? Off-the-court issues scare a player away. Devontae Graham, first free throw is good. And that's the first point, I think, in like 5 or 6 minutes. We have been on a drought. I know, Jake from State Farm, it is unfortunately a protected pick, and that does suck because if that pick was not protected, it's going to roll over into next year. But if it wasn't protected, we could have we could have a possibility of the first and second pick overall, and then we would just draft Victor Wembanyama and Scoot Henderson, and my goodness, will we have a hell of a team possibly over the next decade. Didn't work out like that, though. That Hornets pick is protected, so we can dream. But we, like Aerosmith said, we'll just have to dream on. By the way, Pelicans ball 4 on the shot clock. Ingram, tough jumper with the clock running out. No good. Champagny with the rebound. We got 1 minute to go in the first Q. Spurs down 23-16. Wesley, free throw line jumper, no good. That's a favorite shot of former guard DeJounte Murray of the Spurs. When I see that free throw line jumper, I do think of him quite often. McCollum pull up 3. Pulls up. Number 3 pulls up for 2. No good. My apologies. Champagne's going to take a quick 3. Nope. All right. Both teams just running back and forth, missing shots. This looked like it was going to be a high-scoring affair, but both offenses have really just here in the... Oh! Dominic Barlow blocks a dunk attempt by Brandon Ingram, but he's going to get hit with the whistle. Yes, let's get the... I don't know what the likes are up for the moment. I have not even looked at it. We're at 39. Oh, no, it's 39 people. 20 likes, excuse me. 20 likes, that's it. Wow. You know what? We're going to have a record low likes on this channel tonight. I'm going to be positive and just be like, you know what? This will be the suckiest Spurs video I've ever done. We'll get 500 views with 25 likes. I have no control over it. The team has been losing. It is what it is, but I will reap the rewards when we're good again. It's not really making me say Jakob Hu. That was more of a joke on the thumbnail TLGS. But his recent play has made me realize there is life after Jakob Poeltl, and he's, if you look at since their trade, he's outplayed him offensively. Now, I can't speak on how he's played for the most part offensively. He has been, the turnovers are a little higher than I'd like him to be. I expect Jakob's been playing better defense in Toronto. Overall, though, half a dozen in one, 6 in the other. I don't think at this point, if Zach Collins keeps playing this way, that Jakob's that big of an upgrade over him. That long 3 is no good by Devontae Graham. It's going to bounce around and bounce over the backboard, and the Spurs are down by 9. Let's not go down double digits going into the second quarter. One thing, too, you guys, is with me coming back, I expect the first few live streams and the first few videos are probably going to struggle. And we're going to have... Is that a foul at the end of the quarter? No. I did see YouTube's pushing me way down in the algorithm for everything, and that's one thing about taking time off is YouTube is not friendly. It does not do your channel any favors taking time off, but that's okay. I've been down before, and much like Rocky said in Rocky 5, I'll get it all back. So I know I'll have to work for it. It's okay. I expect it. All good. I feel like when we have a big lead in the first, second quarter, we lose, but if we are trailing, we win. You think so? We don't have the personnel. My concern tonight is, why, obviously rooting for the Spurs, we are down a lot of guys. You also have to remember the NCAA basketball tournament's going on right now. So with the Spurs playing not so good, a lot of fans may have stopped watching this year. I'm sure a lot of fans have stopped watching this year. I get it. I stopped going live for some time this year. It was tough to watch, and I was just finding myself doing other things throughout the week. But I was like, you know what? This is where my heart belongs. This is where my heart is, and I'm back. They put 0.6 seconds back on the clock. Alrighty. William, they do. And you're right, Michelob. If you guys didn't see, I put up 3 videos today. And Brandon Ingram's going to be at the line for 2, so they called a late foul. Crap. All right, well, we probably will be down by 10 going into the second. But I did 3 videos today. I did the Zach Collins video. I did a short while I worked on a short while I was at work and got that done real quick during breaks. I got the Jordan and LeBron video up. Now I'm going live tonight. I'll be live tomorrow night. I have a Victor Wembanyama video ready for tomorrow. The key is just making sure when I'm working on the channel, it doesn't take away from other things I'm doing. That was a problem in the past. And wow, it's 27-16. All we need is a bikini and squats. And no, consistency is the key. And I've put up very little content the last 2 months, so it's buried my algorithm. It doesn't mean I can't get it back. I can get it back with your help. If videos that I put up, make sure you hit the thumbs up. That's always appreciated. Drop a comment on the video. If you like one of the shorts, share the video. Or if you like the video, share it on the Twitters. I'm back on Twitter. I realized that that's a way I can help the channel grow too, is by sharing the videos on there. I noticed when I left Twitter, that also caused views to go down, and people do see stuff on the Twitter and click on it. So we'll see. William? So, all right, so let me that's a question by Toby. So protected draft pick means, like, I don't know the exact numbers for the Hornets pick we have, but it's protected 1 through 14, which means that the Hornets finish, let's say 1 through 14. If they finish bad enough to have a top 14 draft pick, that means it's protected. That means we don't get it, and it rolls over to next year. And next year, I believe it's protected again, like 1 through 14. And if we don't get that, then it just becomes an unprotected second-round pick. So protected means that if the team finishes bad enough to be in that slot, to wherever the numbers are for the protected pick, if it's 1 through 6, and they're bad enough to have the 5th pick overall, then it's protected. The team making the trade doesn't get it. Unprotected means you get whatever pick it is no matter what. So the Charlotte Hornets, the pick we have from this year, if it was unprotected and they finished second worst in the league and then ended up drafting 2nd overall, we would get the 2nd overall pick. So that's why when you see unprotected picks, that is gold. That means no matter where the team finishes that you traded with, you are getting that pick. Protected means you can't get it if it falls wherever that protection is. 1 through 10, 1 through 20. That Hornets pick is protected. As far as a Jordan fan, I'm a Spurs fan. First and foremost, David Robinson's my favorite player of all time. But Jordan was a player I loved to hate in the 90s because he was so freaking good. I didn't mind they won their first championship. I'm like, all right, you beat the Lakers, whatever. That's when I started watching the NBA. But then when they kept winning, I was kind of rooting for Portland. I was definitely rooting for Phoenix with Charles Barkley, and no matter what team went at him, he always found a way to win in the finals. When they played the Spurs, drove me crazy. The Spurs would be up by 10 in the 4th quarter. He'd go hit a dunk, the tongue would come out, and then the game would be over. As good as LeBron has been, and Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant, and Jokic, and all the players that I've seen, Giannis since Jordan's retired, Duncan, there's yet to be a player that I've seen take over a game the way he was able to, and it was annoying, but it was impressive to watch, and he is my GOAT. I just never seen anything like it. Kobe's probably the closest thing. Rest in peace. But Jordan was a treat to watch, even though at times I couldn't stand how freaking good he was. Anyway, Pelicans ball, pull-up jumper by Josh Richards. Jay Rich against his old team hits the old jumper. All right, good night, Michelob. You only saw, notifications are weird on YouTube too, Melissa, especially YouTube Shorts. I don't get how they notify you guys if they even do when I do a short. Champagne into the paint, misses the layup. Now, I guess the one silver lining for me is if the Spurs are getting blown out by the end of the 3rd quarter, which we're kind of heading that way, I'll politely end the stream early and go play video games or something. But I hope that's not the case. I don't like us getting blown out. I hate blowouts. Can't stand them. Spurs down 31-16. The offense is really non-existent, but when you're out, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, Zach Collins, Jeremy Sohan, you're asking a lot of the other players to do more than expected as Trey Jones hits a jumper. If we get the 2nd overall pick, I think it's going to be Scoot. I agree. You're welcome, Toby. Hopefully it made sense. So just the easiest thing to remember is unprotected is what you want. Is Valanciunas with the turnaround jumper good, 33-18. I don't know if we're actually tanking. I think it's just happening unintentionally. Mamu fakes the three, drives in the paint, throws up the layup, and blows the layup! Down the other end, Najee Marshall gets the layup, and the Spurs are getting destroyed. My clock is a little ahead of the TV clock because they came into the start of the second half 13 seconds in. Dougie for three, no good. Oh, my. Atlanta. You know, we were up at one point like 16-15. So if that's the case, the Pelicans are on a 20-2 run. CJ McCollum misses the layup on the paint. Valanciunas with the putback good. Oh, mamma mia. Good evening, Zach. Never fear, Zach is here. That was a dogfight, TLGS. It was. I don't know what my favorite finals is. Probably the revenge against the Heat. Mamu to the paint, gets the bucket. One. Finally. Japan up on USA. What are they up on, Veronica? Japan versus USA for what? What international? I have no idea what's going on. Baseball. I don't know. World. It is the. I was gonna say World Baseball Classic, but I couldn't. It wouldn't leave my mouth. So there's a lot going on tonight too. I mean, I know somebody mentioned. I mentioned there's not a lot of views tonight. That's okay. I don't do this for the views. I'm doing this because I enjoy it. I'm gonna watch the game anyway. And there's a lot going on in sports right now, and the Spurs they're not very good. Is it like the championship tonight? The USA and Japan, like whoever wins it all? I am really out of it when it comes to other sports. Really, really, really out of it. We're due for a championship again, I think. Oh, it is the final tonight. Oh, dang. Oh, Gorgie Zhang. Whoa, what's going on here? Trey Jones just got mauled before the inbound pass. No whistle. So I'm noticing a trend here with this game. When the Spurs get knocked down, they're just letting them play. Trey Jones' runner is good. What I'm trying to say is the fouls are not necessarily going for us tonight. I do feel like they're going a little against us. I said it. Quick three down the other end. No good. That was Trey Murphy the third with the shot. Trey Jones will bring it up for San Antonio. Drives into the paint. Pull-up jumper. Good. Trey Jones trying to take over the game, and so far actually doing it. You didn't get the notification? Of course. Thank you, Tabitsky. It's good to be back. I don't think YouTube's sending out notifications on this stream, but that's all right. What's not all right is that three-pointer by Trey Murphy. 40-25. It is Spurs ball. Mamu's going to launch a three. No good. Well, Mamu is taking a lot of shots. Unfortunately, a lot of them aren't necessarily going in. Another three down the other end. No good by Murphy. He's launched, I think, 3 threes in a row. As this turned into a three-point shooting contest, and one that right now we're not winning is Romeo Langford with a beautiful move in the paint. Misses the layup off the glass. A fight for the board. And finally, CJ McCollum will come down with it. It's Pelicans ball. They got a 3-on-2. And they'll turn it over, but we're going to have a whistle before the turnover. Yeah, Bassey broke his kneecap. I believe I read that's the second time he's done that. I believe it's a cracked patella. That's not good. If that's the second time the young man's done that in his career, doesn't bode well for him long term. Wish him the best. He had some moments here and there for the Spurs. He's still very young, very raw. So he could turn into a quality backup center. As far as a starter, I'm not sold yet. Really not sold yet. That three's no good, and it's going to be Spurs ball as Valanciunas took a shot to the face. What haven't I shown you guys yet? Oh, we haven't had a Thunder dunk of justice. I got something for that, but the Spurs haven't dunked the ball yet. Kind of need a dunk before I can show that off, right? Let's get a dunk somewhere, Spurs. Let's go. Spurs ball right now. Mama with the ball. Drops it off. Trey Jones going to launch a long three. Trey Jones! has been the Spurs offense in the second quarter, and the Pelicans are going to call timeout. The Spurs down by 12. Trey, props to Trey, looking good here in the second Q. He's got to have double digits by now, I would be thinking. Hey, buying car. What is Vroom? Never heard of Vroom. Anybody? Vroom? Vroom, buy your car from Vroom? By the way, joining me as usual. Hey! Knock it off. You get in trouble for that. I haven't kept up with all the Spurs' recent draft picks. Do we still have any draft and stash picks sitting over draft and stash overseas? There might be somebody whose name escapes me. If we do have a draft and stash guy, I don't remember their name. I did a video on all the picks we have coming up over the next few years, and I think we are averaging at least 3 picks a year over the next 5 years. A crap ton of second rounders, and you never know what you're going to get in a second rounder. Granted, it's a diamond in the rough. Manu Ginobili was a shock to be as good as he was a second round pick. Nikola Jokic, who probably is going to win his 3rd straight MVP in the NBA, a second round pick. So, though, there are special players out there, but more. It doesn't happen too often, but it does happen. You know what? I'd rather throw 10 darts at the dartboard and get a bullseye than throw 1 dart and not get one at all. Spur of the moment, I did enjoy that too. Beating DeJounte Murray did feel good. I don't have any ill will from him, and I do believe he said some nice things about the Spurs after the game, if I remember correctly. He said some stuff after he was traded that did rub some Spurs fans the wrong way. I opted not to cover it. I know I could probably get some more views if I covered some of the negative stuff with the team, but I just don't like talking about that stuff where, players are unhappy or, I really didn't like covering the Joshua Primo story. And I couldn't sweep that under the rug and ignore it. It happened, but stuff like that, I don't like covering it. It's very negative, and generally the comment section is not going to be it's going to be overall negative. Just like when the Spurs lost 16 in a row, I didn't want to address that on the channel. What the hell am I going to do? Put a video up that says Spurs set franchise record 15th loss in a row or whatever the record ended up being immediately. I don't want to cover that. It's like, no, I don't want to talk about that. I mean, granted, I have to talk about negative things. They do happen to the team, but I'd rather focus on the positive. Like, this year has been rough, but I like what I'm seeing out of a lot of our young guys. Jeremy Sohan's been such a pleasant surprise from day one to where he is now. He just, dinged up a lot, unfortunately. Devasell went healthy, shown us a lot of growth this year. Kellen has struggled, a little disappointed there. But over Zach Collins the last few weeks has been terrific. So I like to focus on stuff like that. The good things that are happening for the team and our players. Vaishunas hook in the paint. Little baby hook's good. I'm going to call an offensive foul. Offensive foul. Andrew, I'm doing great. Thank you. Thought about, free agency so far, Zach. I like it. Thank you, LJS. I enjoyed doing that video. It took a lot of time, to get that thing ready. Because doing all the stats always takes me longer than I expect. But I wanted to give Zach some props, and that's the type of video I want to do. When guys are really playing well, I want to put it out there. And with a little bit left of the season, I kind of want to focus on that. I did videos like that earlier this year. Malachi Branham did a video on hyping him up, a video on hyping up Jeremy Sohan, and I thought they earned it. They were playing extremely well when I did the videos, and I thought they earned you know what, the season might be rough, but you are excelling right now. Trey Jones is playing very well, Mr. Z. I'm a little shocked. He is one of the starters where I hate to say it, I'm still not sold. I hope he proves me wrong. Josh Richardson against his old team says that's a 3. Malachi Branham with the ball right now for San Antonio. Out to Mamu. Mamu back to Branham. 14 on the shot clock. Branham going to drive into the paint. Stops and loses the ball. That's turnover. All right, sounds good, Zach. I like what the Giants have been doing overall. I know you're a Giants fan too, and that's a drive to the rim, throws it up off the glass, and a bucket good by Herbert Jones, 45-28. Spurs ball. Down by 17. Devontae Graham thought about a three, pulled it down, gets it to Mamu. Mamu right now with 8 on the shot clock. Back to Devontae Graham. Graham guarded by Brandon Ingram, former teammate. Gets a pick and roll. Starts a drive. Step back 2. Nope. Josh Richardson with the rebound. Jay Rich will bring it up for the Pelicans. Jay Rich guarded by Branham. Get it out. Who is that? Oh, it's Dyson. Is that Dyson Daniels? It is Dyson Daniels. Number 11, Dyson Daniels in the game for the Pelicans. We'll get it to Jay Rich. Jay Rich going to get fouled by Devontae Graham. Pelicans are not in the bonus yet, as far as I can tell. Hornets bringing back Miles Bridges, even with his... Oh, are they? Will the Spurs ever bring back Primo? You know, I do get that asked often. In all honesty, I don't think so. Did Joshua Primo show us enough in his brief time with the Spurs to show us that he's going to be the guy? I don't think he did. Brandon Ingram pull-up jumper in the paint, good. And it's a 19-point lead. What's up, Ernie? What's up? You know, we're getting killed. I'm going to throw it up anyway. I don't care. All right, that's right. Down by a million, turn the ball over. You know what? For those of you coming in that haven't seen this, I got 2 words for you. Chug yours! That's right. We're stepping our game up here at TSR Sports. We got sound now. We got sound effects. It is Pelicans ball. Jay Rich going to have a reach-in foul on Devontae Graham. And if you haven't seen this, since a lot of you asked to see the game earlier, I'll give you a little game.
Sucker!
Does Ja Morant current situation set precedent for a possible Primo? I don't really know what's going on with the Ja Morant situation. I know there's some lead. Jay Rich for 3. Wow, they just dropped David Robinson's number on us. And our anniversary on us, 50. I don't know the whole Ja Morant situation. I haven't followed it. Graham for 3. Good. Is it similar to the Joshua Primo situation with... yeah, to that situation. I gotta be careful what I say on the YouTubes. Larry Nance Jr. with a jumper in the paint. I believe that's his first bucket. 52-31, a little over 4 minutes to go. Yes, I do think we'll have a top 5 pick. Playoff team next year if we draft Victor. Yes, I think it'll be a top 8 seed. Blake Wesley drives into the paint, throws it up off the glass, no good. It is Pelicans ball. And we're going to have another foul on San Antonio, I believe. Herbert Jones took one in the... You take one in the jubblies? Inside of the thigh or in the ding-dong. Take your pick. Yeah, he took a knee to the junk. Latino Lantern with the $5 super chat, he says. Branham, not the D+, anywhere. I like freedom pickups. Turning the bottom of the roster, picks up diamonds in the rough. TSR Sports, go Spurs, go! Thank you very much for the super chat. We are turning the bottom of the roster right now. As KBD gets in the paint, misses the shot, going to get fouled in the line for 2 shots. Branham, not the D+ anymore. What do you mean the D+, though, Latino Lantern? Oh, is that what I gave our draft pick when we picked him, a D+? Is that what I graded him, maybe? Ooh, ouch, that's harsh. I do like the free agent pickups, too, though. And, you know, we are picking up some diamonds in the rough. Charles Bassey, Mamu. Branham turning out to be a better than expected pick from last year's draft. So, the Spurs are doing some things right. We just got to stay healthy and maybe find a way to win some games. Missed the first free throw. KBD second free throw, good. 20-point game, 52-32. Thank you, Veronica. It is free. Fast, free, fun, nutritious, and delicious. Spurs down, 52-32. Brandon Ingram with the ball right now. Ingram dishes into Larry Nance Jr. Jr. in the paint. Gets fouled, and I think he's going to go to the line for 2. Did I rate him a D+? Well, there must have been somebody else I wanted at the time when he was drafted. I don't remember who, but I think there was a player that was still sitting there. I was like, draft him. We need him. Maybe it was a forward. I don't remember. Rewriting the draft, Jeremy Sohan would be an A. Um, Brandon would probably be an A minus, and then Blake Wesley. Fortunately, he's been injured a lot this year, so there's not a lot to go by. The little bit we do have to go by, he's been wild. He's been a little turnover prone, so I'll give that. He's shown flashes. A B minus. The overall draft, I'll give an A minus. Problem is we had a lot of the injuries. Sohan's missed a lot of time, and Blake Wesley's missed a ton of time, so it's really hard to give him an A when we haven't seen him on the court all year. Brandon with a really tough shot, no good. Brandon Ingram with the rebound. It'll be Pelicans ball. They're up. Whoops, I missed a free throw. They're up 54-32 with 3 minutes to go. 32 points. That's all we got. What the heck? Turnover by the Pelicans. Wesley going to get it up the court. He is one of the fastest players, I believe, in the NBA. He has some wheels. It's the Brandon in the paint. Back out to Wesley. 12 on the shot clock. Wesley in the paint himself. Throws it high off the glass. Rolls around the rim. No good. Spurs get the ball back, and KBD's putback is no good, but he's fouled. Going to go to the line for 2 shots. I feel like I'm watching the Austin Spurs tonight, Latino Lantern. This has been a rough comeback game. Now, thankfully, I think a lot of our guys will be back tomorrow night, hopefully. I mean, if Kelvin, Devin, Jeremy, Zach, if a lot of those guys aren't playing tomorrow night, we'll be going with this lineup again, and we'll get annihilated by the Bucks. I'm sorry, I hate to be negative, but my goodness. That's right, KBD. Yeah, Sohan's been. I know some Spurs fans weren't happy when Jeremy Sohan was drafted. I had a feeling it could happen. We haven't had a legit power forward in years. I mean, we were trotting out Dunn McDermott at power forward. Not ideal. DeMar DeRozan at power forward. Not ideal. So Jeremy's a legit 6'9", I think. So, legit power forward size. And, he's shown versatility where he can guard the 1 through 5. So Jeremy Sohan's ceiling has really, throughout the season, crept up higher and higher. And that's a good thing if you're a Spurs fan. We're definitely not tanking, huh? We'll be number 1. Think of if the Spurs were to draft Victor Wembanyama, I do think if he stays healthy next year and we get him, I do think that makes us instantly a playoff team again. Because you look at health is, of course, a big thing with the roster itself and Victor. But you look at the potential so many of these guys have. Jeremy Sohan, you got to think in year 2 is going to be really freaking good. Brandon will probably be really solid next year. Devin Sell continues to get better. I think Keldon Johnson, he's struggled this year. I'm not going to put it all on him. He's had different starters with him every other game, and he's been the focal point of the defense. And there, at times, hasn't been a lot around him. So he's been he's not Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant or LeBron James. He's not that level of player where he's just going to be able to score at will on his own, despite who's around him. He needs help around him, and having a Victor around him, and a huge threat in the paint, and then a 3-point shooting threat as well, is going to space the floor to open the floor, and you could definitely see Kellen's game elevate as well, and just think it would make everybody better around him. So yeah, I want Victor. Latino Later with a $2 super chat. He says, as we do with the Hawks, deficits don't matter. Go Spurs, go. If we come back in this game, in 2 huge comebacks in a row, especially with the roster that's out there tonight, for our guys that some folks have called the G League unit tonight, if they can come out and pull it off, that would be something for them. Awesome, Mr. Z. You know what? What haven't I done? You know what? I need a Spurs to get a dunk so I can play my new Thunder Dunk of Justice GIF video, whatever. KBD's first free throw is good. See if we can cut the lead to 15 before the half. Let's start making this thing competitive. Come on now, Spurs. Let's go. Come on. Somebody step up. Trey Jones did a little while ago. Mambo in the first quarter. Trey early in the second. Who's going to step up and lead this team? KBD missed a second free throw, though. Zion is not playing Latino Lantern. He is out, I think, another 2 weeks. He is a disappointment, if you will. And the way his disappointment is so much potential. The little I've seen of him, pretty much only when he's played against the Spurs, such a freaking talented guy, but his body just, that's the disappointment. His body's not holding up. It's just breaking down A lot because of the weight issue he had when he was, well, as recent as what, last year? Devontae Graham gets into the paint, gets a layup, and foul before the shot. The shot went in. And one. We can do it. It just ain't going to be easy. Devontae Graham with 7 points tonight, 5 this quarter, so he's been heating up a little bit. Make that 6 this quarter. 54-36, Spurs down by 18. Both teams in the bonus, and of course, since I said some point in the first quarter, relatively light game with the whistles have picked up left and right, and there's another one. Son of a gun. I shouldn't have said anything. That might be a timeout. That's a timeout. Never mind. Timeout. Boop, 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 boop. The water's over here. Masagua. Romeo Langford is playing. Romeo Langford started tonight. Hasn't done much. I don't think I've said his name. Just on like maybe an offensive rebound and maybe one bucket. The Spurs offense has struggled mightily tonight to score points. As you can see, we only have 36 points with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left. But our top scorers are out. Keldon, Devin, Zach, Jeremy. You're asking a lot of guys that generally you don't need this much production out of, but we're asking from it tonight. And so far, they have underdelivered, but it's still early. We saw the Spurs make a major turnaround against the Atlanta Hawks on Sunday, where they were getting crushed. I think we were down by 20. I'm not sure the Spurs down by 29, I think, in the first half. It was something ridiculous. The defense was non-existent, and then they just absolutely turned around and played phenomenal basketball in the second, gave up only 35 points or something like that in the second half, ended up being Atlanta. Good morning, St. Benedict from the Philippines. Thank you for stopping in. So it is 9 a.m. where you are, 9 p.m. where I am, I believe. You are 12 hours ahead of me. That's crazy to think. Such a time difference. Excuse me. Pelicans ball. 2 minutes remaining. Brandon Ingram with the ball right now. Gets it into the paint. And no good by Herbert Jones. And it's going to be Spurs ball. Offensive foul. I don't think Romeo's going to get re-signed by us, Latino Lantern. He's shown some flashes earlier this year, but then the one thing that Romeo Langford could not have happened to him was get injured. And he got injured and missed significant time. Oh, that's a foul. Never mind. Herbert Jones at the line for 2 shots. First free throw was no good. But Romeo missing time again. What NBA team is going to want to sign you if you're out multiple games every single year? I don't think he's going to get re-signed by the Spurs. He might have trouble finding a job somewhere else. Did he just miss them both? Miss one? Miss them both? I wish him well. If you ain't in the court playing, you ain't not helping your team win. And he, more often than not, is not on the court playing. Devontae Graham, quick pull-up 3. Good! Taking it to his old team. I'm going to pass on that, Mr. Z, but I can see what you're doing there. Pelicans ball, Brandon Ingram. Quick pull-up jumper over Gorgie Zhang. Yeah, Gorgie's not guarding him. Not a chance. You've got no chance. No chance in hell. You've got. Anyway. Ingram with 16 points on the night, on his way to possibly 30. Graham with another quick pull-up 3. That is close, but no cigar. Larry Nance with the rebound. We got a little over a minute to go. 56-39. And now a 3 by Trey Murphy. Ouch from my couch. 59-39. Oh boy. Field goals this quarter. The Pelicans 13 of 17. Spurs only 8 of 22. And that's one of the reasons we're down by 20. Devontae Graham with the ball right now. And he's going to get fouled. And go to the line for 2. Fouls on Trey Murphy. Devontae Graham is under contract, I think, for 2 or 3 more years. I think somebody in the chat, I think Phil said 3 more years, like $12.5 million a year. So unless he's traded or cut, he's not going anywhere. Graham, free throw, no good. Not a lot of missed free throws in this game. Larry Nance Jr. Larry Nance Jr. is playing, not Larry Nance Sr. Former Cleveland Cavalier. Not that Larry Nance. He has retired. Mega Millions jackpot, by the way, is $272 million. I mean, if I hit something like that, I probably would retire and do this full time. I would retire. He missed them both. When it rains, it pours. CJ McCollum's going to drive, throws it up good. 61-39. Both teams in the bonus. And my goal for the Spurs was to cut the lead to 15. I'll be happy if they cut the lead to under 20. 10 on the shot clock. Trey Jones way out in three-point land. Starts to drive into the paint. Lost the ball. That's a turnover for the Spurs. And the Pelicans can hold for the final shot. Ooh, huge collision. No whistle between Ingram and multiple Spurs. Gets it out to McCollum for three. Oh, crap. 3 seconds to go. And an intercepted pass. And end of the quarter three is no good by Jay Rich. The Spurs are down by 25. Oh, you can see that. I'm putting a fake tear in my eye. That is rough. Oh, boy, that's rough. Well, we'll see what happens in the third. Whoa, I just hit puberty. We'll see what happens in the third quarter. And maybe the Spurs will make a comeback. If they're down this much at the end of the third quarter, well, it might be an early night. But I'm not giving up hope yet. We saw them make a huge comeback against Atlanta. We don't have a lot of the personnel that made that comeback. So we'll see what happens. But a rough first half, faux show. All right. Can't pull up the stats when we're stuck in a stupid commercial, so I'm just going to go to ESPN, and we're going to pull up the stats right now. All right. For the Spurs, Mamu with 12 to actually lead all San Antonio Spurs scores. KBD with 4. Trey Jones with 9 plus 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Has a shot possibly at a triple-double. Romeo Langford with nothing. Romeo was 0 for 5 in the game with a rebound, 2 rebounds, an assist and a steal. 0 for 5, no points. And Malachi Branham, not much better, 1 of 5 for 3 points. And just a rebound, and a turnover, and a foul. Not a lot of production out of the starting lineup. As far as the bench, Champagny with 0 points. Barlow with 0 points. McDermott with 0 points. Zhang with 0 points. Wesley with 0 points. Devontae Graham with 11. We have 5 players from our bench that haven't scored, that played respectively 8, 9, 10, 5, 9 minutes. So that's 14, 24 out of 41 minutes between those 5 players. Nobody has scored. Their collective 0 for 10. Wow. Not to mention Romeo Langford has not scored, and he's played 10 minutes. So Spurs have 6 guys that have not scored tonight. You take away Devontae Graham's 11 and Mamu's 12. That's 23 points by 2 players. The other 10 players, is it 10? 9 players have scored 16 points. Wow. That's rough. For the New Orleans Pelicans, Brandon Ingram with 16 to lead all scorers on 4 of 8 shooting. He has been to the line 8 times, made all 8 of his free throws, and he has 7 assists tonight. Herbert Jones with 2, Jonas Valanciunas with 9 and 7 boards, CJ McCollum with 11 points and 7 boards as well, and then Trey Murphy with 10. The Pelicans have 4 players in double-digit scoring. Off the bench, Larry Nance Jr. with 4, Najee Marshall with 2, Jay Rich against his old team with 10, and Dyson Daniels with a donut. And just going over all that, that's why the Spurs are getting crushed right now, down by 25. The Pelicans are shooting 56% from the field and 46% from beyond the arc, 88% from the line. They're 14 of 16. The Spurs are shooting 31% from the field, 28% from beyond the arc, and only 50% from the free throw line, going 6 of 12. So we are getting beat pretty much everywhere. On the bright side of things, the Spurs do only have 6 turnovers tonight. Pelicans have 7, so they're not turning the ball over. We got that going for us. So, yay. What's up, Walker? Pelican, do they St. Benedict's? This a must-win for the Pelicans already? Our bench is really bad tonight. Extremely bad. We're also getting out-rebounded 27-19 and out-assisted. That's a thing. 16-10. Points in the paint. Pelicans 30. Spurs only 18. We're getting kind of beat everywhere. Looking good, Spurs. Remember, don't win too much. Going to take a miracle to win tonight. I think he might be Mr. Z, and so far nobody's stepping up except for Devontae Graham off the bench. Off with the tank! Sounds like a recipe for a comeback. Let me take a look at the standings right now and see exactly where we're at. I'm going to jump over to ESPN, NBA standings, since that's something a lot of Spurs fans are keeping an eye on, where we finished. So if we look at the... My phone been going nuts. I think I've been hearing my phone. Nope, nothing's on my phone. I'm just hearing crap. All right, the Spurs right now are 19-52. The Houston Rockets are 18-54. The Detroit Pistons are 16-56, and then the Charlotte Hornets are 23-15. The Hornets have us by 4 wins. It would take a lot to catch them. The Magic have 29 wins. We're not. That's impossible. We have 10 games after tonight. There's no way in hay we're winning out. So we are definitely going to, barring a miracle, and the Hornets just losing the rest of their games, and us winning 4 more, which that's no luck to go 4-6. That's for damn sure. We're probably finishing no worse than the 3rd seed. The question is, what happens between the Spurs, the Rockets, and the Pistons? We are, barring a miracle, probably going to lose tonight, which means we'll be 1 game ahead of the Rockets. The Pistons are just a disaster right now. They've lost 3 in a row. They're 1-9 in their last 10. They're probably going to finish the worst team in the NBA. I don't see anybody. They're losing to Atlanta tonight, 93-73. They're getting blown out too. The question is, who finishes ahead of whom? The Houston Rockets or the San Antonio Spurs? They're kind of neck and neck right now. And when I look at this Houston Rockets team, I'm surprised they're as bad as they are. Alperen Sengun, Kenya Martin Jr., Jabari Smith has been playing very well. Kevin Porter Jr., they're the team of juniors. Terry Eason, they have a lot of young talent on there. But for whatever reason, it's just not coming together at all. Or they're not trying and content with losing and aiming for another big first-round pick, which could be happening too. We got another super chat by Latino Lanyards. Throws the $2 in my face. Are starters Pop's load management or real injury? Let me see what they're saying on ESPN for that. Blake has 0 so far, so he's a long way from 45, Glazing Bacon. He's an incredibly long way from 45. But let me take a look at the injury report for the Spurs. What's it say for our guys? All right, here's the most up-to-date injury report. Keldon Johnson out with a neck injury. He had I forgot who it was. Somebody fell on his head on Sunday, so no surprise there. Kem Birch out with a knee. He hasn't even played this year, whatever. Zach Collins has been ruled out for the game for rest purposes, so he's going to play tomorrow night. Jeremy Sohan ruled out with a knee. Hopefully he's not going to be out much longer. Devin Vassell also ruled out due to left knee injury management. He had that injury earlier this year that would cause him to miss 25, 30 games. So hopefully we have Devin, Jeremy, hopefully at least we have Devin, Zach, and Keldon back tomorrow night. Because it's hard calling the team when the guys that are used to seeing starting and playing the bulk of the minutes aren't out there. At least we're not the... Gosh, what is up with Golden State just sucking on the road? I really struggle with losing to win it. I do too. So, Melissa, if you didn't know what happened to get Tim Duncan, I'll just refresh it for you real quick, and Spurs fans in general, if they're not aware. The Spurs in 96-97 were a perennial playoff team with David Robinson and Sean Elliott. So going into the season, you expect to make the playoffs again. David Robinson started the season with... I don't remember the order of his injuries, but he had 2 severe injuries that year. A back injury, probably from carrying the Spurs for his entire career, and he also broke his foot. Now, maybe he could have come back at the end of the season. The Spurs were pretty much already eliminated from the playoffs, so the Spurs it probably was a partial tank, just rested him for the rest of the year. Why bring him back for 5, 10 games when you're already out of it? There's just no point. Sean Elliott also missed like 40-plus games that year, so the Spurs ended up finishing the third worst team in the NBA. Currently, right now, that's where we stand, the third worst team in the NBA. And it worked out for us once before. Can lightning strike twice? Because while we finished third worst, the ping pong balls went our way, and we got the first overall pick, drafted Tim Duncan, the rest was history. That year, while it sucked, the team went 20-62. You got to take it with a grain of salt. Robinson played only 6 games. Elliott missed a ton of time. Our leading scorer was a past his prime, Dominique Wilkins. So it sucked, but it is what it is. The injuries decimated the team. This is a young rebuilding team that's lost a lot of their best players over the last 2 seasons, and they've been dealing with a ton of injuries as well, so it's tough to see us lose. Watching games like this is difficult. It's hard to spin a positive from tonight, except for maybe Trey Jones, Devontae Graham, and Mamu. We have multiple guys with 0 points. You can't win basketball if your guys aren't putting the ball in the rim. We have a lot of guys not doing that tonight. So it is what it is. If the Spurs are blown out by the end of the third quarter, I'll probably call it a night, jump on my Xbox. But I at least want to stay till the end of the third quarter. But if we're down by 30 or 40, then at that point, Pop will rest any guys he expects to get any 7 minutes tomorrow night, and we'll just go full deep bench mode for the rest of the game. We do have a history of not tanking. Doug's playing. He hasn't scored. We have 5 bench players that have played tonight in Latino Lantern. Only Devontae Graham has scored with 11. Every other bench player has scored 0 tonight. And you know what? To the bench guys scoring 0, I think you guys deserve a little chuck. That's right. You don't score, you get Chuck Norris. That's how we roll here. I don't know. Let's put put the third quarter up and be ready for that. That still says the half. That did not work. Q3. There we go. Yeah. The bench has been bad. If you guys didn't catch me going over the stats, we have 5 players that haven't scored tonight, 4 guys off the bench. It is Doug McDermott, Dominic Barlow, Champagny, and Gorgie Zhang. And then Romeo Langford started, and he hasn't scored. So 5 players out of tonight's rotation have not scored. You're not going to win with that kind of output. Thank you. I appreciate that, Demon. I try to have fun on the channel. Stay positive. It's difficult to stay positive as a Spurs fan this year, which is why even I had to walk away when we lost 16 in a row. I was watching most of those games, but man, I wasn't enjoying it. And a lot of those games we were getting crushed to the point where I could just shut the game off early. Probably the worst game, while it was a great experience, watching the Spurs play the Suns live in Texas, and we were down like 30 in the first half. That was a forgettable game. However, it was cemented with me, or what was really cool about the game was that David Robinson ball that night? That was not David Robinson ball that night, but a San Antonio Spurs fan works at the A&T Center, and he brought me around the center, and I saw Tim Duncan eat a piece of cake. Now, I didn't get to say hi to him. He grabbed a piece. Well, he wasn't even eating. He grabbed a piece of cake, and before I realized what was happening, couldn't even grab my phone. I was like, "That's Tim Duncan." He grabbed his cake, went into a suite, and that was the end of that. But seeing Timmy 3 feet away from me was come on, talking about the greatest Spur of all time. Not my favorite Spur of all time. It's still David Robinson. But being that close to Timmy, that was cool. I mean, I'm sure others have gotten their picture with him or an autograph or both. But for me, that was enough. I was right there with one of the GOATs. That's cool. Spurs will get better. Just depends on who we draft and how well they play. Whoever we draft is going to start. I can't see us. I mean, feasibly we could draft worse, as low as 7, but I expect us to have a top 3 pick when it's all said and done, and whoever we draft will be in the starting lineup, much like Jeremy Sohan was this year. We're Spurs fans. We're not allowed to have nice things like a bottom 3 record, so light the Spurs candles, rub an egg, and see how it works out for us. Will do. Good evening, CB. Anthony, good evening. It's great to be back. It's been a small crowd tonight, but you know what? It's okay. We talked about it a little earlier. I'm very thankful for the folks that have stopped in tonight, and I know I'm going to have to put some work in to rebuild this channel. I did see by YouTube I'm getting buried in the algorithm again because I've been so light on content. Not to mention the fact there's a lot of sports right now, and the Spurs aren't playing their basketball. That's for darn sure. But I'm happy to be doing Spurs videos again, and I've decided I really want to put some effort into growing this channel. Not to the point of burnout, but I was like, you know what? It's going to take some work. The struggle is going to be real for the first few weeks of coming back with the algorithm not pushing TSR Sports. But I'm sure I can get it back, and your support will certainly help. You guys stopping in, commenting on videos, thumbs up, any of that stuff helps, and certainly appreciate it. And that's the only thing I'll ask you guys for. Because my goodness, almost every channel I watch now is doing sponsorships at the beginning. And I'm not knocking them, but I hate YouTube sponsorships. It just drives me crazy. Ugh. I did one once, admittedly, and I'll never do it again. I was like, I don't like doing this. The minute I did one, I did my first commercial. I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this. I feel fake. I feel like I'm acting. Yeah, I thought the product worked, but I didn't want to do it. No. So I'll never do a sponsorship on this channel again. Unless, asterisk, if it was a sponsorship from the San Antonio Spurs themselves, then I think you guys would be okay with me doing that. I'll be back to Texas at some point, Melissa. I will be back. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. And I was thinking about the draft, and I was like, lightning can't strike. Yes, lightning can strike twice. That's why at the Spurs draft 3rd overall, I'm just having visions of 1997 with the third overall pick turning into the 1st overall pick. Wow, it is empty in New Orleans. I think the Pelicans fans have gone home for the night. Spurs will start off with the ball, down to 25. And I think Romeo Langford just stepped out of bounds, and he did. Oh, it's turnover. The young guys are fun to watch, just games like this, it's rough. It's really rough to watch games like this. Card Kingdom? Not going to happen, Latino Lantern. While I do still play Magic the Gathering, I don't do any Magic-related content on my channel, which means Card Kingdom would never sponsor this channel. It wouldn't make sense. Brandon Ingram with a pull-up jumper, good. But if the Spurs were to if somehow the Spurs were to do anything at all related to this channel, then yes, of course I would accept that. I mean, that's my team. That would be a dream. And I don't think, again, anybody would knock me for taking that. Valanciunas strides in the paint. Paint parts like the Red Sea, gets an easy dunk. Spurs are down by 29. Oh, that's a different situation now, TLGS, because we didn't draft Kawhi. We got lucky that he turned out to be the player he did when we traded for him. And then we got unlucky that he turned out to be have the character that he did. That's a drive and a bucket for Trey Murphy off the glass. My gosh, we're down by 31. Right, Veronica? This is embarrassing. Trey Jones going to drive into the paint. Gets the layup. I mean, we're getting killed. I'm going to have some fun. Is that a Grogu coming out of your hoodie? Are you happy to see me? That is a Grogu coming out of my hoodie. And I'm happy to see you. That's a missed shot. 71-40. 10 minutes to go. Spurs will throw the ball out of bounds. Pelicans ball. I think I stopped with the whole channel. It was an experiment for a month. Editing the videos for that took so much time. And that's where I was. When I wasn't calling Spurs games for the last month, I was editing the videos for that and experimenting with the gaming channel as well. I was like, you know what? Starting over, I don't have it in me. At the age of 45, after being on YouTube for 17 years, I don't have it in me to just grind the heck out of a brand new channel. I don't have the time to do it. I don't have the energy to do it. So I ended up shelving the project. I kept some of the videos I made. I really liked how they came out. But it was too much. Trying to still do content on this channel, trying to get something up for the music channel. That one's not going away. That's still there. And just 3 channels is too much. Mom of 3! I have a full-time job. It's just, and I hang out with friends a lot. It's just impossible to do 3 channels. I can't do it on my own. Good evening, Cowboy X Factor. ¿Cómo está? I always tell GS, it's the time thing. I was excited about it, but man, I was getting burned out fast. Brandon Ingram pull-up jumper good. Spurs have had no answer for him tonight. I do like Over the Top. That's a good movie. I mean, the best way for any man to win his son's affection is to arm wrestle. KBD for 3. That deserves a go, Spurs go, doesn't it? Let's pull it up. KBD. 12 on the shot clock for the Pelicans. They're up by 25. Oh, thank you, Cowboy X Factor. I do appreciate that. You've been a long time and consistent supporter. Brandon Ingram. Is this going to be an and 1? We'll know in a moment. Devontae Graham. He's a high-volume three-point shooter. A little inconsistent. Will he be continue to be a solid bench player for us? I think so. Oh, my clock is still running. Crud. Well, I am way ahead. Like 2 ahead. Let me fix that. There's a foul before the shot. Ingram is at the line for 2. He makes the first one. Cowboy X Factor's thing with LeBron and MJ is I could put a million stats up on why Michael Jordan's... He's my GOAT, but I could put up a million things up why Jordan's a GOAT. I could put a million things up why LeBron's a GOAT. When people watch the videos, I would say 99% of the time they've already made their decision. If Michael Jordan's your GOAT, there's nothing anybody's going to say to change your mind that LeBron's a GOAT, and vice versa. So I don't bother arguing about it. I just, I would give my reason, but both players are great. And for me, Jordan's the GOAT in the 90s. Kobe's the GOAT of the 2000s with Tim Duncan. And LeBron's the GOAT of the 2010s. I just leave it at that. I mean, the game has been so different from decade to decade. The rules have changed. The three-point shot has changed the game. It's really not fair to compare players of extremely different eras. But my personal GOAT is Michael Jordan. Spurs ball, by the way, as I was just talking in an out and butt there. KBD for 3 again. Okay, if that's how we're getting back in the game, then so be it. Carlos Jeter, good evening. It's 4 years, April 5th, my friends, 4-year anniversary coming up for TSR Sports. Right around the corner, and yes, Zion is always injured. Yes, that Go Spurs Go did have audio. I've added audio to some of my gifts, my friends. For those of you just coming in, I want to give you a little Triple H, the game. Sucker! I like to change things up. You guys know I'm always working on stuff. And that's one thing while I was away that I did a lot of video editing on those Hulk videos when I was doing that channel, and maybe I can bring that over here. Yeah, but the thing is, with GOATs, it's an opinion. GOAT is just an opinion. My friend of mine, Dan, I've heard some people say that LeBron James, now that he's got the all-time scoring record, he passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, that he's now the GOAT. And he made a good point. He's like, well, was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar the GOAT before that? And if somebody says no, then it's like, well, then why would that now make him the GOAT? In the end, it doesn't matter. I feel lucky enough that I've been able to see Jordan play, Kobe play, LeBron play, obviously all the Spurs, that goes without saying, but being able to see the different players throughout the decades, it's been a treat. And while I'm admittedly not a big LeBron fan, I can't take away from what he's done. I mean, come on, 10 finals appearances, that's ridiculous. I would probably call him the GOAT if he didn't jump ship. What I would like to see out of LeBron James, honestly? I didn't really like him going to Miami and teaming up with Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. But if he went back to Cleveland, if he had stayed there the rest of his career and continued to build something there with Kyrie or maybe some other players, I probably would have a much more easy calling him the GOAT would be easier for me. You know, I wouldn't be debated as much. But going to the Lakers and doing the Anthony Davis thing and then bringing in Russell Westbrook, I know the team brought him in, not him personally, but just that kind of made me like, constantly jumping teams and building a super teams. To me, that takes away from a player's. It takes away from them. Like Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's a great player. Kevin Durant only has a championship to his resume because of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and the Golden State Warriors. He jumped ship to a already proven championship team. As great as he is, I'll never call him a GOAT because he's never done anything, built anything on his own. He's one of those players. I'm just gonna, jumping in the Suns. Now, granted, it's trades, whatever. It's not all on him, but you got to think he has some input on where he's getting traded. So Durant, I look at him and I'm like, yeah, you're a great player. You're one of the greatest scorers of this current generation, but you have never built anything. You just... Anyway. Yes, they did Cowboy X Factor. Ricky Lombardo and Ron Jambo are producing TSR Sports now. Robert, good evening to you, and since you said it, here you go. Like how, exactly, Cowboy X Factor, it's just an opinion. In the end, it doesn't matter. I know David Robinson's not the greatest center of all time, but for me, he is right here. Well, Carlos, good luck changing jobs, sir. The sound is really loud. Oh, is it? Uh-oh. Which sound is really loud, Jim? And I can turn it down a little bit. My clock is running. I've been chatting with you guys as KBD's at the line. Which video is it too loud? Because I can turn that down. Because I don't want anybody going deaf on my channel. I don't want to cause an ear. I don't want to cause an ear injury. Lord knows I've done that plenty in the past. Being loyal, I think, does help, Cowboy X Factor. I mean, I've been very lucky that my favorite players in my lifetime, at least to date, have stayed with the same team their entire career. Eli Manning, David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, almost Tony Parker. So, I mean, I think team loyalty, Giannis is a great example of team loyalty. Giannis Antetokounmpo could have left Milwaukee a couple years ago, said, I'm staying here. And what happened? That year, he won a championship. So I have the utmost respect for players like that say, hey, I'm going to stay here and build something. The guys that try to take the easy way out, like Kevin Durant did, with all due respect, try to win an easy championship, I get it. But I have more respect for players that build something with the team that drafted them and try, that's all I got. Anyway, Spurs ball. Mamu drives into the paint, throws it up off the glass, no good. Valanciunas with the rebound. Pelicans up 76-52 with 6.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Murphy for three, no good. Malachi Branham with the rebound. Can we get some offense going here, San Antonio? I don't like being down by 24. Branham into the paint, throws it up high off the glass. Good. You must have heard me. Well, heck, I want Giannis on the Spurs. Come on, I think anybody would take Giannis right now. It is Pelicans ball. Brandon Ingram will get it out to C.J. McCollum. McCollum tries to get into Valanciunas in the paint. No good. Devontae Graham, quick pull-up three. No good. That's why I can't stand Michael Jordan's last 2 years with the Wizards. Now, granted, they were not a championship caliber team when he went there. I wish it just said Bulls on his career. And there's an alley-oop. Huge dunk for Herbert Jones. 24-point game. Romeo Langford, jumper, no good. Mamu with the rebound. Mamu will kick it out. Brandon for three. That's no good. Valanciunas with the rebound. 78-54, 5.5 minutes to go. Sanchez, I would like to say we can come back. We don't quite have the firepower on the court to do that, more than likely. And our defense has been non-existent. That comeback against the Hawks, the defense absolutely tightened down on the Hawks in the second half. That's not been here tonight. Mamu for three. I like Damian Lillard and the Blazers. Good example. Me personally, Andrew, I didn't care. Well, all due respect, didn't care. Ingram for three. Oh, Ingram for 2, excuse me, and it's 83 to 57. My mind was going ahead there. Branham gets in the paint, misses the shot, gets it out to KBD. KBD's going to drive baseline into the paint, loses the ball. Ball's going to go out of bounds, and it's going to be Spurs ball, 10 on the shot clock. They are Cowboy X Factor. The Blazers are one of those teams that a lot of teams, the Utah Jazz have been a good example of this, where you're good enough every year to make the playoffs, but you're not good enough to win the whole thing, and you're just kind of stuck where you're not good enough to win it all, but you're not bad enough to get a draft pick. You're just kind of floating around, and that's the worst place to be as a fan is, well, heck, you guys, a lot of you are Cowboys fans. That's where you've been the last few decades. Good enough every year to make the playoffs, but not good enough to win it all, and not bad enough to get a top 3 pick. Trey Jones in the paint with the layup, 83-59. It is Pelicans ball. That shot is no good. And Trey Jones will bring it up for San Antonio. Sprints into the paint. The runner is no good. Yeah, the Mavs could be one of those teams kind of stuck in the middle too. That's a good point. Oh, Veronica, what did I do? Oh, the Cowboys, sorry. That wasn't... Listen, it is what it is. Herbert Jones drives in the paint, layup good, 26-point game, 3:40 to go. Edward, going to depend on this year's draft. If we draft first overall, we could be a contender in 2 to 3 years. Devontae Graham misses, foul, going to the line. It is what it is. The Cowboys have been stuck there for a long time, and I think you're going to continue to be stuck there with Dak Prescott at your quarterback. There's just enough weapons around him to keep the team relevant. The defense has been pretty good the last few years. I don't remember how good your defense was this year, to be honest with you. I worry the Giants, my New York Giants, can be heading that route where Graham missed the first free throw. Spurs are terrible at the line tonight. Really awful. But with their current roster, are they going to be good? Are they going to be kind of in the middle of the pack every year now? The Giants. They have a hell of a coach. Love what I saw Brian Dable in his first year, but I don't know. I kind of worried we might be in that exact same boat where we're good enough every year to make the playoffs or get close to the playoffs, but not bad enough to get that top pick. Made the second free throw, 85-60. What a boxing glove. Are you done with the Jesus sandal, Veronica? Is it a boxing glove now? Is that Jesus sandal? Who is this foul on? Timeout? Timeout. I haven't done a video on the Giants Cowboy X Factor. The thing is, doing a Giants video right now wouldn't make sense for the channel. I haven't covered them in a while. I could do a mock draft video. I did enjoy doing those last year, but the thing is, we had 2 top picks last year in the top 10. I think we drafted 5th and 7th. Memory serves me correct. Now we're drafting 17th, and there's a lot less excitement about a 17th round pick as opposed to a 2 top 5 or 2 top 7 picks. I don't have a huge Giants audience, and I mentioned this earlier in the video where people were talking about, not a lot of thumbs up tonight, not a lot of viewers, etc. And it's because I have done little content in the last 2 months. I'm kind of pushed down in the algorithm right now. I'm gonna have to work to get it back, but I'm willing to work to get it back. And I've decided that, you know what? I've experimented a lot outside of this channel, and it never works. I've experimented on this channel too, and it hasn't worked. But 2, I got to just realize that TSR is my brand, and I've got this channel, which I'm very proud of, and I've got the music channel, and I'd like to get the music channel to 1,000 subscribers someday. And I'd like to get this one to 100,000. I'm a long ways away, but you know what? If the Spurs do draft Victor, this channel is I know it's gonna explode. There's gonna be this interest in the Spurs will be the highest it's been since Kawhi left, and I'm sure the team would start winning a lot of games again if they draft him. Interest will still go up even if you draft Scoop. After that, I'm not sure how the other players would affect team interest, but I know I can grow this channel if I'm willing to put the time in, and I am. I'm willing to work hard on it. A friend of mine was a big influence. He had a goal. He had to pay for something in his house and worked 2 jobs, 80 hours a week for about a year to pay off a debt that he incurred. And I was like, you know what? I can put an hour a day into this channel, stop being a wuss, make it work around your current work schedule and your friend's schedule, and just stop being lazy, Rich, essentially, and put some time to this. Spurs will be your main thing on this channel, but also, hit the NBA draft route. Do some Vicar 1 videos. Revisit Kai Soto, see what he's up to. And, do the shorts too. LeBron, Jordan, those type of players are always going to draw interest. I do play video games for fun. My favorite game is in rough shape right now, Rogue Company. There's been a lot of updates to the game, and not all good, so I've been playing less. I don't play Apex Legends anymore, really. I just suck at the game. Actually, you know what? I suck at Battle Royale, but the new mode they put in, where there's an alternating, team deathmatch, kill so many people with the gun mode, that new playlist, I actually do well on that. And I did get 9 kills in a game, which for me is really good, because I'm not good at Apex. Yeah, rough game to start back. I was a little worried this would be a game that might not go well, but yeah, oh well. It is what it is. I'll be back tomorrow night for the Bucks. Hopefully most of our stars are back. Brandon Ingram with the jumper in the paint. Spurs have had he's been unstoppable tonight. Apex is not fun anymore. I've never tried Fortnite, Carlos. I'm familiar with the game. I've never tried it. I know it's a game where you build stuff, but they recently came out with a mode where you don't have to build stuff, and it's a shooter. None of my friends play it, so I just haven't played it. Blake Wesley for 3, no good. Champagne for 3, no good. I love the comeback versus Atlanta. I have not tried Overwatch. I am a gamer, though. Rogue Company is what I play the most right now. I do play a lot of games on Game Pass. Currently, I'm finishing up As Dusk Falls. Ingram for 3. That's the biggest lead of the game for 30. What else have I been playing? Full Throttle. Point-click adventure. I've been working on that. That's on Game Pass. It's just, Game Pass games. Dyson Daniels into the paint. Throws it up. No good. Foul going in the line for 2. I'm going to check the volume on all my little videos here, and we'll turn them down a little bit. So there's Triple H. Turn that down a little bit. Chuck Norris. Turn that down a little bit. Go for the Ooh, that one's real loud. We'll turn that down a little bit. Is this better? All right, hopefully that helps. And you know what? We haven't had one, but I'm going to say it just so... Nope, he took the bucket away. Never mind. Free throws instead, and he made 1 of 2. We haven't seen one. Well, maybe we'll get a dunk so I can do the Thunder Dunk of Justice, a little cheesy thing I made for that. Come on, Spurs, get a dunk so I can do that. I don't want to just play it just for the sake of it. Blake Wesley in the paint, throws it up, no good. 91-60. I did go out of town, Cowboy X Factor. I went to Las Vegas for UFC 285. The return of John Jones. It was awesome. Jay Rich, pull-up jumper, no good. Norris sound is perfect. Most points for the Spurs. Champagne for 3. Oh my gosh, that was an air ball. Wow. Devontae Graham or Trey Jones, I think, has the most points. Ingram in the paint, spins around, throws it up, no good. Spurs ball down 91-60, a minute and some change left in the third quarter. Doug McDermott with the ball right now, starts to drive. Back out to Devontae Graham. Graham with a pick and roll with Champagne. I'm sorry, with Dominic Barlow pulls up for 3, and it's good. I do think Devontae Graham's our lead scorer. Best era for wrestling? Ooh. My favorite era was the Hulkamania era. Well, gosh, you know what? Probably the best era was the Attitude Era. 96 to 2000, right in that time frame. The Rock, Triple H, Generation X, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, Mankind. The best. Plus, you also had WCW doing well on the other side of things. with the NWO, Hogan, Nash, and Hall. So that era is probably the best era for wrestling. The Monday Night Wars, they're drawing the highest ratings that you've ever seen with both Monday Night programming drawing over 5 million viewers. So, yeah, Attitude Era is the best era for wrestling. But I did love the 80s Hulkamania era with Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, Paul Orndorff, Roddy Piper, Miss Elizabeth, Andre the Giant, Demolition, greatest WWE theme song of all time. So that was a good time. So the Ultimate Warrior, you know. Want to hear a joke? Spurs. Yep, that's fair. I mean, we're eliminated for the playoffs. I mean, you want to hear a joke? The Pelicans have won an NBA title. And the Spurs are going to have a 24-second shot clock violation. You can just talk to people. Huh? I don't get that comment first, last. I didn't see your last comment. Dyson Daniels out in three-point land. Spurs down by 28. I do not see every comment in the chat. It's not that I'm ignoring people. I might just not have seen it. And Wesley with the steal, and he throws the Thunder Dunk of Justice. All right, that lightning went a little longer than I thought it was going to, but there we go. Finally got to play it. At the end of the third quarter, the steal and fast break. Wesley with the dunk. Oh, okay. Well, first, last. Then never mind. Duty calls. My day's been awesome. Was that good? Was that a good Thunder Dunk of Justice? I'm trying, man. So my time away, I did learn some new tricks, and I turned these GIFs into videos with sound. So, you know, I'm always trying to improve on what I'm doing in any way that I can. Fourth quarter. We'll see what happens the first few minutes, and then we might call it a night. We'll see. Can we make the ultimate comeback? All right, you guys did like that. That was awesome. Good. All right, cool. Rich or Channel are better and better and better with all. Okay, cool. You guys like that? Awesome. So see, that's the one benefit of me experimenting with the other channels previously is I start learning new tricks I can bring over here. Have fun, Zach. That was the first dunk of the night. I've been waiting for that all night. I'm like, when am I going to be able to bust out the Thunder Dunk of Justice? And then psh, there it is. Finally. Finally! If you only knew the power of the dark side. And it's got water in my beard. Nice. I really hope Wembyama goes somewhere else so I don't have to keep seeing people happy about taking. If we get Wemby the bandwagon, oh gosh, you know what? So I'm going to be transparent first, last. If we get Victor Wembanyama, yes, we're going to have a lot of bandwagon fans more than likely. That being said, it's going to help my channel grow incredibly. And if he can stay healthy, the Spurs will be probably an instant playoff contention to make the top 8. And first and foremost, I want the team to win. And this kid looks, just what he can do at 7'5" is ridiculous. His physique does scare me how thin he is. But man, if the Spurs draft him, I'm all aboard. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of bandwagon fans. It is what it is. I always preach everybody's welcome here at TSR Sports. So if we have a lot of new fans come in just because of that, it is what it is. But you know what? After struggling 4 years as a Spurs content creator, and I know I'm not alone, it would be nice to have something that brings eyeballs to the Spurs. And, you know, it would be awesome. Find an effect for the wedgie shot. What's the wedgie shot? And as always, the NBA pass resumes with the game already playing. Najee Marshall with a quick dunk to start off the Carolina Panthers. What the heck just happened there? The New Orleans Pelicans. Wow, my brain just... I don't know what just happened. Do we kick? No, we don't, Veronica. It will happen first last. The Golden State Warriors, look at the Lakers. Of course, they have a big fan base, but man... you watched NBA live streams like what I'm doing shift from the Warriors to the Lakers back to the Warriors. The fans follow. I've had a lot of fans from different parts of the world tell me we just like good basketball and we're going to follow who's playing well and frankly, who's popular. It is what it is. I mean, a lot of people today are fans of players more so than teams. That's just, how things have changed throughout the years. I have one of my closest friends when I lived in Virginia told me I'm a LeBron James fan, not a fan of any NBA team. Wherever he goes, I go. And I think there's a lot of people that are LeBron only fans, maybe Steph Curry fans, and probably there's going to be Victor Wembanyama fans only. They're going to follow him wherever he goes. That was a big three for the Spurs. I didn't see who shot that, though. My apologies. It's great to be back. Victor probably will I don't want to say get bullied, but he's going to get pushed around in the paint more than likely. My biggest concern with him is because of his size and how tall he is, if you have a shorter player crash into him, it's going to hit him differently than a player that's 6'6". Or his legs can be more prone to getting injured in the NBA. That's the thing I fear the most. Those really thin legs on that 7'5" frame not holding up to the NBA, the 82-game schedule. Oh, when the ball gets... Okay, that what you shot. I thought that's what you meant. So in my head, I was thinking, stuck ball has got to be what he's talking about, but that happened so little, I haven't made anything for it. 136-121. I don't think we're going to have that type of score in this game. That would be something. No Bahamas to the Spurs. Carlos, you don't want Victor? Masagua, good point. Yes, long time no see, random vids. We got an official review right now for some reason. Victor, who would you take? Carlos, who would you take over Victor Wembanyama? Would you prefer Scoot Henderson? I know some Spurs fans have mentioned on my videos you would prefer Scoot. Yeah, I think you feel like Victor Wembanyama, sure, maybe high reward but high risk due to the injury concerns, whereas Scoot, you feel like that might be the more safe, sturdy pick, if you will. Slaver 1 on Gorgie Zhang. Zhang it. Valanciunas at the line. Having a pretty solid stretch the last 3 games. 19 points a game and 13 boards. First free throw was good. I want to go to the Bahamas? Well, I mean, I do too. I've never been. Veronica, I'll see you there. Let's make it happen. The injuries? Yep, I figured, Carlos. That's been the number one concern with a lot of Spurs fans is the injuries. If we were to draft Scoot Henderson, that would give us a starting lineup next year, more than likely, from top to bottom. Zach Collins, Jeremy Sochan, Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, and Scoot Henderson. Would that make us a playoff team right away? Maybe. At the very least, a play-in contender. I do think Scoot would get us out of the bottom of the barrel in the Western Conference, and we would be contending for at least a play-in spot. If everybody can stay healthy, I do think Jeremy Sochan is going to be even better next year, and I'm really excited to see where he goes. Devin, I think, will continue to improve. He missed a lot of time this year. Keldon will probably stay around a 20-point-per-game guy, but he's going to be improved with a consistent lineup around him. Valanciunas with the hook in the paint, and the Pelicans are back up by 30. Spurs to target a center. Maybe. But Zach has been really good lately. Mamu for 3, no good. Zach has been really, really good. Fun in the sun. Hey, sounds good. Gabriel, good evening. Go Spurs. You know what? Let's give you a Go Spurs go. There you go. That's a miss, and Trey Jones will bring it up for San Antonio, down by 31. Dougie for 3, no good. I think we still have quite a few players that have not scored tonight. Struggle's real. Struggle is real. 99-68, 9.5 minutes to go, and if we're down by 30 at the 6-minute mark, that's probably where I'll probably call it a night. We're gonna have a goaltending. Goaltending on the Spurs. I think that's Gorgie with the goaltend. New screen name, Veronica with a tan. I don't have a tan right now. I have not done. Well, I got some sun today. I went out and played basketball for a little while. Realized how out of shape I am. No, I cannot dunk right now. I definitely cannot. But as I get back in shape, lose a little bit of weight, maybe lose 5 to 10 pounds, then I'll be good to go. Maybe not lose 5 pounds, but turn more into muscle. Spurs very sloppy with the ball right now. Shot clock violation. Jordan's selling the Hornets. I think I saw something on Facebook that he bought them for, it was like 180 million or 200 million. Now he's selling them for 1.5 billion or 2 billion. That's a pretty darn good investment. I'm not shocked he's selling the Hornets. Isn't Jordan like 60? Is he old? Is he over 60? 98, he was like 34, 25. He's probably right around 60, give or take a year. So he probably doesn't want to be an owner anymore. That life is not for everybody. Valanciunas in the post right now, guarded by Gorgui Dieng, backs him up. And turns the ball over. Tried to get to Marshall, was cutting in the paint, no good. Spurs the fast break. Doug McDermott with the bucket. And I think that might be Dougie McBucket's first bucket of the night. Tan like bikini. What? 101. We're still down by 30? CJ McCollum in and out burger with his shot. Trey Jones gets it up the court real fast. Spin around. Almost turned over. Picked up by Mamu. Mamu is fouled. Let's see if he goes to the line. Go Dougie. Was that his first bucket? Oh boy. Struggle's real tonight, my friends, but I appreciate everybody that hung out tonight. I know it's going to be rough calling the Spurs the rest of the year, but I'm going to do it for fun, and I'll be watching the games. And we'll set a reverse record. This will be the lowest viewed Spurs stream I've ever done on this channel. Let's take that as a positive, though. What goes down must come up. The views will be down for the rest of the year, but when we draft a top 2 pick, the views are going to be back up. Valanciunas with a big dunk in the paint. Just hanging on the rim. Didn't want to fall on Gorgui Dieng. I don't think Pop's the problem right now. There you go, Jesse. That's what I like to see. Trey Jones gets in the paint. Layup is good. Do we have an and one situation? We do. See if the Spurs can crack 75 points. Under 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. I hope everybody plays tomorrow night. I really want to see I want to see Calvin and Jeremy and Devin back on the court. And Zach. I think Zach will be good to go. Said he was resting just for, well, rest purposes. Calvin had somebody fall on his head Sunday. That's probably why he's out. He's out with a sore neck. Devin, I think, should be good to go tomorrow night. Mentioned he was on just knee management. Sohan might still be out. He's been having an ongoing knee issue on and off throughout the year. On and off, just minor injuries for him. It doesn't make sense to me, Veronica, but my Spanish is terrible. Right? Spurs, watch the Spurs win tomorrow night. You know, play the team that we should have no chance against and end up winning. That's how it rolls. That's how we roll. Beat the teams we're not supposed to beat. And shock the world. Hey, we're getting close to 69 thumbs up. Can we get to 69? 69, anybody? Keldon is out tomorrow. Crud. Exactly, Melissa. Glad for punishment. The folks that are here tonight are the diehards. Because no matter how bad we are, we're still here. So when next year, when we can add 2 zeros to those stream numbers and we have like 1,500 people in here because we have Victor Wembanyama, we'll remember you guys were here tonight. I'll remember it. By the way, missed the free throw. Carlos Jeter with the $5 super chat. He says, thank you, my man. Doesn't matter if we win, if we lose, or if we win. The most important things is we have fun, enjoy the great stream. Go Spurs. Thank you, man. Actually, you said great stream. Appreciate your support. And yes, you're right. Enjoy the game. Enjoy hanging out. We prefer a win, of course, but we know this is a rebuild. The Spurs were expected to be bad this year, and they are. You know, I said this early in the stream. You can't expect the team to win games when you trade so many players. I mean, look at the last 2 seasons, this year and this year. Derek White, DeJounte Murray, Jakob Pearl, Josh Richardson. Not to mention the Joshua Primo issue. All the injuries we dealt with this year. Devin Vassell missed half the season. Kellen's missed some time. Jeremy's missed a ton of time. Trey Jones has missed a ton of time. You can't win that way when you have a different lineup every other day. You just can't. You can't. That's a miss in the paint. I didn't see he just went flying through the paint. That was Najee Marshall. Spurs ball 103-74. Trey Jones going to get over to Devontae Graham. Graham over to Romeo Langford for 3. That is no good. Our 3-point shooting has been poop tonight. We're on the Titanic, Veronica. We on the Titanic, and we're sinking. Sinking. We sunk. We sunk a while back. I think we had an 11-game losing streak and a 16-game losing streak this year. CJ McCollum's runner in the paint's good. 105-74. Well, I did say if we're down about 30 at the 6-minute mark, I'd call it a night. And I think, barring a bucket here by the Spurs, we're going to be down by that. Gorgie Zhang, pull-up jumper. It's good. He says, no, TSR, you stay right here. Mamu, he's been okay. Watch your comparison between Colin and Pro Goods. Thank you, Anthony. I thought I did a pretty good video on that as well. Appreciate it. It is Pelicans ball. 8 on the shot clock. CJ with the pick and roll. And a foul on the Spurs. We're going to have a timeout. And Spurs fans, I think I'm going to wrap it up there. We're down by 29. Look, I'm a positive Spurs fan. We're not coming back 29 points down with 5 minutes and 48 seconds to go, missing half our roster tonight. So I'm going to wrap it up. But I would thank you for everybody that hung out tonight. You guys are the diehards. I appreciate you. And maybe tomorrow night we'll have more of our lineup back for the Bucks game. Hopefully a lot of the guys are back. And maybe we'll sneak in a win or two here and there. Play a little upset for the teams trying to make the playoffs or trying to get a higher seed in the playoffs. That's what we kind of want. Still finish, bottom 3 of the league. Well, don't see us crawling out of that. But maybe just, an upset here and there and mess up one of those teams trying to make a playoff push. So I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate y'all hanging out. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do so. It does help the channel. Fast, free, fun, nutritious, and delicious. Selena Gomez, thank you for being here tonight. Looking good as always. And that's all I got. So appreciate y'all. See you tomorrow night. Be back at 8 p.m. Eastern. Until next time, what you gonna do when TSR Sports runs wild on you? Go Spurs, go!